Good morning, everybody, and to everybody, a good morning. Do me a favor. We are on all platforms once again this morning. Do me a favor, invite somebody, share, tell them coffee time is on. Today, we're going to be talking about managing heartbreaks. Yeah, it's a topic of discussion that I think we all need. Um, that's what we're going to be talking about this morning. We're going to be talking about managing heartbreak. So, do me a favor, invite somebody to share. We'll be back right after this.
Uh, uh, coffee time, coffee time. Yeah, this ain't your average cup of joe. Listen, I need it in the morning, I need it at night. He always keeps it brewing, he always keeps it tight. Just a little sip, it'll get you right. Terrence Pickett always be the one that gets the coffee right. The coffee's right, the coffee's right in my life. It's never a wrong time over crime to get what's yours and to get what's mine. Come on, coffee time in my life. Coffee time. Feels so right. I need a little sugar, put it in my cup. Can you stir it, Terrence? Let me know what's up. And at the end of the show, you can brew another pot. Just make sure you make it hot. Come on. Time in my life. Coffee time. Feels so right. I need a little sugar, put it in my cup. Can you stir it, Terrence? Let me know what's up. And at the end of the show, you can brew another pot. Just make sure you make it hot. Come on.
And good morning to everybody, and to everybody, a good morning. So good to see you all on this beautiful Thursday, July 1st. Rosalind Clark Jones, good morning. Nikki Mitchell, good morning. I have a message for you, Nikki Mitchell. I've been praying over this thing before I give it to you, but just know um, I'm carrying it in my heart for you. Tina White McPherson, good morning. Yolanda your Brooks, got something for you too. So we're talking about this morning. Our topic of conversation is managing heartbreak. I want to slide into our topic this morning. Angie Brown. Angie Brown. Hold on. There we go. Angie Brown, good morning. Good to see you, Angie Brown. We've been praying for Angie Brown. She's had a series of health challenges. We've been standing in proxy for her for a while now, just believing God for complete and total healing. And I'm grateful this morning that I believe that our prayers work. I believe that when we come together and pray, God does the return for the investment of time in prayer. So it's so good to see Andrew Brown this morning. It really is. Dewan McIntyre, good morning. Chanel Bracy, good morning. Andrew Brown, yes, we're fighting for you. So I wanna ease into this conversation this morning, and you all do me a favor, invite somebody to share. But this is going to be different. It's going to be different because I didn't give myself a time limit. Generally, I try to stay on between 20, 30 minutes, 35, 40 at the most. But I'm going to talk until I feel that I've done due diligence with it. So our topic this morning is managing heartbreaks. And I need you to talk back to me this morning, okay? How many of you have ever had your heart broken? Just put a hand in the comments. Raise your hand. Say, I have. Say something. Um, how many of you have ever had a heartbreak? Uh, I'm writing in the comments. Um, Stephanie Brooks, good morning. Lynette Leah Walcott, good morning. Jerry Brown, good morning. Heartbreaks are terrible. Heartbreaks are awful. There's a pain. There's a pain in the heart. Now, here's the critical thing here. I've got somebody I'm going to introduce you all to who talks about this emotional well-being in such a precise way. My bro is on, my little brother, Big Steve. Y'all got to give some love to Big Steve. Come on. Yeah, you got to give some love to Big Steve. That's my guy. Good to see you, bro. Praying for you and your family always. So managing heartbreak, when you're young and your heart is broken, probably one of the first things that we look for, seek after, is revenge. We want revenge. The person that hurt us, we're looking for ways to get them back. A lot of times we cut people off, and we're cutting them off not because it's good for our mental health. We're cutting them off as a form of revenge. This is my way to get back at you. This is my way to try to make you pay for what you did. Now, we cut them off. Sometimes in heartbreak, we try to buy people back. We increase the gift load. We use swelling words. We try to convince them. We show up. Heartbreak is very uncomfortable because it alerts all of your emotions. When your heart is broken, every emotion is alerted. Now watch the complexity here. Where's Vanessa? Vanessa Robertson. I'm carrying her too. So the same passion that it takes to love, it's that same identical passion that it takes to hate. They're not different. It's the same passion. It's the same emotion. Love and hate, it's the same emotion. This is why one can be turned on quickly, and then the other one can be alerted in no time. If you've ever been in an on and off relationship, you understand, especially when your heart is there, you understand this probably more than most, that the love you have for that person, as soon as they violate or do something that you told them not to do, immediately, almost with no time, the dislike that you have, that disdain, it's not only strong, but it's immediate. That hate is real. If you are on YouTube, thank you for your support. If you're on Facebook, bless you. Create a YouTube account, follow us there as well. Sometimes we will do certain segments on all platforms, but 98% of the times is YouTube only. So the reason it doesn't take you much to hate a person that you love and love a person that you hate is it's the same emotion. Now, the pain that you feel of disappointment through heartbreak, that pain does not exist in your physicality. It's alerted in your physicality, but it doesn't reside there. You're able to feel it, but it's not physical. But it hurts probably worse than something physical. Now, let me give you something about your brain. Scientifically, your brain does not know the difference between emotional pain and physical pain. So the same repercussion side effects that physical pain has on the brain, emotional pain has the same. All right. It's important that I share that because it's going to make sense the more we get into this discussion. Now, when I was young, I've always hurt privately. I've always hurt privately and quietly. Primarily because I never wanted my emotions in public. That's not something that I mentally ascended to. That is not something I figured out over time. That's how it was from the beginning. Even as a kid, when I would cry, I didn't want to cry in front of people. I wanted to cry by myself. It's a part of my personality. It's a part of who I am. As I begin to mature, as I begin to get older, I start understanding the necessity for, at times, public affection and allowing people to see that I'm human. There have been many conversations that we've had over the years here on this platform, and those things trigger the heart. That the thought of certain things, the conversation just digs into those emotions, triggers that memory. That memory brings those emotions, and those emotions become extremely real. And because they real, I found some freedom sometimes in just releasing them wherever I am. As you get older, Lord have mercy. My cousin is on, Kendrick Denard. Y'all give it up for my cuz. Y'all give it up for my cuz. More and more and more, I appreciate not only those of you that are here, but people that are passing through. I appreciate you. You make coffee time a success. And I say that to you every morning. Without your ear, I don't have a voice. You are the missing piece to the puzzle that's in my life to complete this purpose that God has placed inside of me. And for that, I'm forever grateful. All right, so the older we get, believe it or not, the more sensitive you become, because the more you begin to understand those safeguards that you've developed over time, and the older you get, the more sensitive you become if you are allowing yourself to change. Change creates an internal chemistry that causes you to go into the lab of your emotions and rebuild you as you grow. Sunshine 1113, good to see you this morning. So you begin to remake you, the remaking you, the rebuilding you, the tearing of you, that tearing, that breaking down in time makes you more sensitive, but it also makes you more powerful. So as you get older, the level of your sensitivity in most cases heightens, because the strength that it took to guard certain areas you no longer have, because you've used that strength to overcome obstacles, rebuild yourself, remake yourself, rethink yourself. You've exerted yourself, you've exhausted yourself in so many different areas until the guards that you've had, they are weakened. Would you all agree with that this morning? Even if you didn't think about that before, now that you're hearing it, would you agree? And I want you to put your comments in the comment box. So now that as you grow older, you have a greater sense of understanding for love, And when I say a greater sense of understanding of love, the people you love, you really love, you're more conscious of that love. You're more aware of that love. I got an opportunity to go home this past weekend to celebrate my Auntie Abby's birthday. As I grow older, my love has always been the same, because I don't think you can truly love, especially if you have Christ in your life. God is the head of your life. You love through the love of the lover of your soul. So that love is not earthly, it's divine. And because it's divine, it does not change. It's the same yesterday, today, and forever, because love is God, God is love, and God never changes. But there's a better awareness the older you get, the more you've learned, the more you've seen people come and go in your life. You have a better awareness. There's this, you have a better understanding. You have a better appreciation for that love and for those you love, because you understand just how fragile life really is. Jama, good morning. So good to see you this morning. So the more you grow, the older you get, the more of life battles you survive, the more appreciative you become just to see another day. Now, not only are you more appreciative for the day, you're more appreciative for the people that are in your life that are solid. You're more appreciative for and towards others' support. And that love that you have now, you display it more, you say it more. One of the things that I've been doing lately, even on social media, hey, love you, bro. Love you, because I don't want it to be a situation where you ever question my position as it relates to you, because that love is real, and I'm more sensitive now than I've ever been in my life before. Now, let me tell you how this level of sensitivity heightened. It heightened not through what I've gained, it came through what I've lost. When I think about the people that I lost, when I think about the loves that I've lost, and I'm talking friendship, family, it's a sticky place for me. It's a sticky place. So I've learned how to better appreciate people and the love that they bring to the table, as well as support, because people don't have to be nice to you, even your family. Now, processing all of this, processing life, processing, a great deal of us are still in shock, believe it or not, because some of the tragedies and atrocities that we've experienced in 2020. Your mind still hasn't caught up with the pain that you have. Not only 2020, but all the things that happened prior to. Your mind is still processing. So it takes a while for the mind to catch up where the heart is. The ultimate goal is to have head and heart harmony. That is, I'm able to think about what I'm feeling. I'm able to process what I'm feeling. I'm able to carefully articulate how I feel, the way that I feel, and I'm able to do it in such a manner where it's not distasteful. But my words are seasoned with meekness and grace. And as a result of those words being seasoned with meekness and grace, now I'm able to process people that are around me who are not easy to love. Now I think you're starting to see why I told you it was going to take me a while to get to my point, because there's a lot that it takes to get there. I'm able now to judge people and not be offended when they do something wrong, but I'm able to appreciate relationships and who those people are to me. And I'm able to shelf their dysfunctions and how it makes me feel. And now I'm able to manage my inner circle better, my friends better. I'm able to manage those that are around me better. Big Steve, this just came in my heart. Let's get together next week. Let's get together next week. I'm able to manage. Paula Woodard, so good to see you. Paula Tarver. I'm able to manage what goes on in my circle. I'm able to shelf certain things. So I know certain people, certain family members, certain friends cannot handle certain conversations because of the things that happened in the past. So because they can't handle it, what I try to do is find a medium of exchange where we can communicate effectively and nobody get their feelings hurt. Because as much as I've grown to be more sensitive, I'm equally as tough. And in past times, I tolerate a lot of stuff, because I understand growth, I understand people. And Big Steve, that works, bro. I understand growth, I understand people, I understand that I've not always been who I am, and I'm still becoming, I'm still learning, I'm still growing as a result of that growth. I want to be careful that I give other people the same measure of grace that he's given me. But just because I give you that grace does not mean fellowship. That grace means I forgive you, I release you from whatever you've done to offend me. But you may not have an opportunity to sit in the same position that you once held because of the offense. See, when people offend you and they do things to you, even if they are unaware, they're telling you where they are. And you have to be careful with who you allow in your space, because you got to understand, ultimately, it's not about you, your persona, what you like, what you dislike. It's really about the grace that God has placed on your life to become and be what he has called. And the older I get, the more sensitive I am about what he's called me to do. And I cannot allow myself to be wounded in your presence for the sake of trying to show you my forgiveness. Now you hurt me again, and it causes me to be distracted because of the pain from my purpose. Pain will distract you from your purpose. So now you've upset my entire routine. You've upset my morning. You've upset my evening. My heart is carrying this disappointment. My heart is carrying this pain that you've caused. You don't see how it affects me in other areas. So just because you apologize, and I believe, from my experiences, when people apologize, they're sincere. They are sincere. But let me help you out. If someone was to shoot you in the leg with a shotgun and there's an open wound, and they did it by accident, just because they apologize don't mean you don't go to the hospital. So the apology doesn't stop the rush of blood. The apology doesn't even change the wound. The apology are verbal words that should be projected from the sincerest place of the heart. And if it comes from the heart, it may help my emotions in terms of my mind as it relates to your intentions, but it does not stop the pain and the blood that you've caused. Blair Curry, I need to get with you as well. Teresa Bryant, good morning. So Tobias Tankett Jr., good morning, my nephew. I love you, boy. So just because you apologize, that didn't stop the bleeding. There's this ongoing saying that I have. I say it all the time. I say it to everybody. You can't step on my toes and then try and regulate my scream. Let me scream the way that I scream, because the way that I scream is mental therapy for me. I understand we don't scream alike. You think I should be able to take the pain and muzzle my mouth and not show any type of emotions or reaction. Well, that's you. As it relates to me, I scream the way that I scream, and I may change my scream depending on how you've inflicted pain on my foot. So you can't hurt me, then try and regulate how I holler. And this is for people who offend others, whether it's intentionally or unintentionally, and you don't want to suffer the consequences that come with that offense. It's not that I hate you. I'm screaming. It's not that I hate you and I don't want you to be a part of my life. I'm wounded and seeing you, being around you, depending on the offense, affects how I feel. So until I can get over my feelings internally and be able to see you with the pure love of how God sees me, I have to separate myself from the relationship so I can heal first, so that when I come around you, just looking at you doesn't inflict the wound again and open it back up. And a lot of times we don't give ourselves time to heal before we try to jump back in relations with the person that's offended us. It takes time. Deborah Latrice Swint, good morning. It takes time, people. J.R. Johnson, you all make sure you all follow J.R. Johnson. He has a beautiful show that comes on Fridays. You all, Timeless Sounds. Make sure you follow him, support him. I'm telling y'all, we all we got. So you've got to make sure you give yourself time to heal. Let me give you this. All wounds are not physical, like all wounds are not emotional. This is how we have to be careful how we treat each other. And we have to always leave room for error on self. One of the things that I practice in any relationship, whether it's with my brothers, sisters, cousins, friends, my mother, my dad, family, friends, is what I try to do is when they've offended me, I try to think on the positive nature. I think about the positivity that they bring to me. Somehow this helps me manage the wound that they've caused. I create space between me and them to give myself a chance to heal. I'm not nasty. I'm not going to be nasty. You can do this. You can create this space, and you can do it. Can y'all hear me okay? You can do this with meekness and grace. You don't have to be nasty. A lot of times we believe because a person has hurt us that they should take whatever we give them. Because after all, they're the source of the offense. And we try to pay them back or repay them for the pain that they've initiated on us by trying to see how cold we can be to them. That is dangerous to you. That's going to open up things in you that should not be. A lot of the cysts and a lot of the things that grow in our body, lumps, pains, a lot of the sicknesses, not all of them, but a lot of the sicknesses and things are a result in most cases of laws that we've broken as it relates to relationship. Scientists have proven that unforgiveness creates something in your mentality that sends sickness through your body. Let me give you something else that's scientific. Y'all know I'm a nerd. I like to study and read. When you tell a lie, it's been proven that lies alerts or sends enzymes through your body that have been proven to cause cancer. That doesn't mean everybody that died of cancer is a liar or everybody that has cancer. That's not what that means. But I'm just saying how the things that we do, violating principle in law, triggers certain things in the body. Okay. You have to give yourself time to heal. And by giving yourself time to heal, you have to remove yourself from the environment where the offense happened. Here's what a lot of us try to do. We try to be supercharged, super deep. We try and be Jesus and just immediately accept people back in the fold who've offended us without giving ourselves time to heal. And here's what we do in the process of doing that. We create an even deeper problem because that wound has not had time to heal. You allow this person back in your space, or someone that resembles the person that offended you in your space, and they agitate. They agitate the womb, and you can't heal being in the environment where you were inflicted. That can be work, church. And I know, oh Lord, this thing's hurting my ears. I know when it comes to work, it's a little different because we have to be there. Let me take these off. I'm not going to be able to hear myself, but I deal with that. They're hurting my ears. I know when it comes to work, it's a little different because we have to be there. I mean, unless you hit the lotto or you had some rich relative to break you off a piece, we got to go to work. But my point is, even in being forced back into an environment that made us sick, we have to be careful and mindful in who we mingle and how we handle or conduct ourselves while we're in that atmosphere, because we're still healing. So this means I cannot engage the way that I used to, but I want you to know I'm not trying to be funny. I'm going to be as loving as possible because I'm not trying to pay you back. That's childish. The older you get, the more you begin to see child's play. I'm not trying to get you back. It is what it is. It happened. There's nothing we can do about changing it. The only thing that I need to do now is I need to receive my healing so I can go on with my life, view you the way that God views you. And in order to do that, I need space to heal. Tia Roberts, good morning. Now, space to heal in a marriage may mean we sleep in 2 separate rooms. It may mean that. Depending on the violation. I don't want to get into this because this is not really for marriage. It's for all of us in general, but it's on my heart. So let me go and go there for a second. If there is infidelity in the relationship, Vanessa Robertson, I asked about you earlier. I'm praying for you and your little girl. Man, let me tell y'all something. The sensitivity and the mental alertness, the spiritual acuteness that it takes to do what God's called you to do comes through your brokenness. And the more broken you are, the more sensitive you become. But Vanessa, I'm praying for you. Those of you that are a part of Encounter, I have a very, very important word from God for those of you that are connected to me with Encounter. You say, hey, well, what about Coffee Time? Well, Coffee Time ain't Encounter. Encounter is strictly about the Word of God. Coffee Time is for everybody. We talk about everything. We use biblical principles, but the foundation of Coffee Time is totally different. You want to be a part of Encounter? Inbox me. But I have a word, and y'all don't. I don't say this often because I don't want people to think that I'm some spiritual guru, spiritual superstar, where you've got to govern to what I say because I hear from God. All is hear from God. But then there are times when God used people that you're connected to speak directly into where you are, where you're going. And that is what I'm sensing in my heart for Encounter. So Encounter, you do not want to miss tonight's Bible study. It is a word from God. I'm going to be broadcasting on all platforms, but it's directly to Encounter. Everybody can come, but there's a sure word. If you're connected to me in Encounter way, you believe that God is in some portion called me to be a voice in your life, you need to be on tonight at 7:30. So in marriage, for instance, as it relates to relational healing or things that need to happen before healing can take place. When you're in a marriage, depending on the violation, let's say you stepped out of the marriage, and I want you all to understand, stepping out of the marriage doesn't necessarily mean you had sex. You could be sexting through text messages, conversations. You've opened up your heart and your mind to someone outside your marriage, male and female. That's cheating. And it's just as disgraceful as you taking your clothes off and getting it in, swinging your little willy wop. Your little Jolly Rancher. It's just as disgraceful. You opening up your pearls and sharing the moisture. It's just as disgraceful. Here's what we've done as people. We've relegated and we've tabled certain violations. So if a man cheats sexually with a woman or a woman cheats sexually with a man, it's probably the highest disregard of unfaithfulness. So that has a lot weight. It has a lot of more weight than a conversation. So here's what we do. We have these conversations and we think it's a light offense. But I want you to know that the conversation is just as destructive as the physical act of sex, because you're opening your heart and your mind. Your heart and your mind should be closed to only the person that has the key, and that's the person that you're in covenant with. So if you're sharing any part of you with them, you're robbing the one that you're with. So that may mean in a marital relationship that we've got to sleep in 2 separate rooms for a while. It may mean you have to sleep on the couch. It may even mean separation. You might have to move out of the house because the person that you've offended is wounded. And to give them space and time to heal, they're going to need time and space. It's not a lot of teaching out here that help us with these areas of our life, but I think it's a necessity. You need time to heal. Because let me tell you what's going to happen if you don't heal and you continue to move the way that you are. You're going to hurt somebody else, and you're going to place on them all of the pain that you receive from somebody else. And it's unfair. It's unfair. So when it comes to managing heartbreaks, the most essential part of managing that heartbreak is creating a space to heal. Hey, I'm not available right now. This may mean you withdraw for a season. You got to give yourself a time frame to withdraw from maybe certain social settings. And it's not time away for you to sob in the sadness of your emotions or be overwhelmed with how bad it is for you. It's not for that. It's time so that I can heal this heart of mine. I can get in my word, pray, whatever you do to regulate pain. You need time so that you can start the healing process. So you're not carrying the weight of this emotion because it affects you in other areas. When you've experienced great or tremendous heartbreak, it affects how you raise your kids. It affects other relationships that aren't even connected to the one that's caused this offense. It affects everything because it affects you. You want to be healthy. You want to be whole. You want to be in a position where you are at your best at all times. You want to be in a position where you're nothing has the weight to affect or influence your thought process. Your mind is all you have. And if your mind has been wounded, I can promise you anything that has to pass through the resources of your mind is going to be affected. You've got to get around. You've got to get from around the person that offended you. And you've got to get out of the atmosphere where the offense was taken. Again, you can't heal where you were infected. So it may take a season for you to get away. In that season, understand Um, if people really love you, they all know your signs and signals. This is why communication is important. You know, my friends know when Pickett goes quiet, I'm resetting. I never forget. I'm going to share this. This is a private situation. I'm going to share this. Y'all know my little brother, Gene.com. His mama is my heart. I call her mom. Mom called me and texted me, but she caught me in the middle of a whirlwind where my phone was off and I wasn't responding to anybody, not even my children, not my siblings, not even my parents. I just was not in a place to deal with anybody. And it was right after. Let me tell you what happened. My brother, Troy Sneed, had just died. I have an uncle and an aunt in Atlanta. My uncle died on a Sunday. That Thursday, his wife died. They were in their early 50s. They were not old people. All these people died from COVID. Right after that, some friends and family died. And just the whirlwind of pain that I was experiencing. And let me help you out. Side note for those of you who are so biblically and theologically astute, faith doesn't remove pain. Faith controls the outcome. The Apostle Paul said, we don't sorrow as those who have no hope. But he did not say we don't sorrow. This stuff knocked me off my feet. It was unexpected. I did not know what to, I'm saying in the moment, I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to do. I pray for my sister, Emily Sneed, all the time. I'll never forget when she sent me the text message. Just lost. And you need to understand that there are going to be moments when life hits you where you are fully human. And because of your humanity, you're going to have a full human moment. That moment may be a day, it may be an hour, it may be a minute, but you are fully human. And I think there's a rush to impress and prove something to folk. So we feel like we have to be divine all the time. But you're not. You're not. Jesus goes to the tomb of Lazarus to raise him up in his divinity, him being God, him being Lord over death. He has the power over death. And that's because he was all God in the flesh. His whole purpose at being at the tomb of Lazarus was to raise him up. And he began, y'all misunderstand the interpretation of wept. He sobbed. That word wept in Hebrew literally means he put out a moan and groan that was so loud, trees began to shake at his grief. His grief was so strong, it affected and changed the atmosphere of those that were watching that believed in him to raise up Lazarus. They broke down even worse, seeing him sob, yell, act like a fool at the tomb of Lazarus. Now remember, he was there to raise him up. Why is he grieving so hard if he's getting ready to raise him up? Because grief is a part of your emotional healing. I'm going to say that again. Grief is a part of your emotional healing. When you don't grieve, you hinder the healing of your emotions. You have to give yourself time to heal. I'm going to say it again. You've got to give yourself time to heal. Your inability to grieve and be human sets your divine nature back. Because even though faith is a principle, faith needs a body in order to hope, because hope comes through the processing of your mind. Well, if your mind ain't right, your hope is going to be thrown off. So your spiritual maturity is affected by your humanity. You got to release those emotions, whether you screaming and hollering or whatever. Get it out of you. Don't tell people, don't allow people to tell you don't cry. What I'm getting ready to say is intentional. What the hell you mean don't cry? What in hell do you mean don't cry? So you want me to deny myself the emotion that God gave me to disperse in proper order? When something's funny, you don't fight yourself for laughing. Emotions were given for expressions. Expressions are a part of your emotional outbreak to release the reactions that are internal. Internal reactions are expressed through emotions, but we allow people to make us superhuman and make us divine to the point that we're so divine that we fail to be human. And your failure to be human does not give the mind the space that it needs to release, and it affects your spiritual health. Let me give you this. Someone asked me yesterday if you didn't get an opportunity to check out Coffee Time. I think it was Monday or Tuesday. I've only done one this week. Go check it out. I divulged some very personal information, just trying to help folk do what we do. And they said, where do your topics come from? How do you get this information? It's easy because I live it. I really do. I live it. I don't listen to other shows to get ideas to talk. When I'm listening to other shows, it's because someone has brought it to my attention. There's something they want me to check out, or there are people that I listen to because I'm being fed. I never seek a word to share. Oh God, give me something to say. What? What do you mean, give me something to say? What you're supposed to be saying is what you should be living. This philosophy, give me something to say, derives from you got to practice what you preach. We have that wrong. It's in reverse. I think you ought to preach what you practice. What you're trying to practice, you shouldn't be preaching too much of that because you're trying to get there. And if you're trying to practice it, you ought to alert your audience. Hey, I'm not there yet. There should be some kind of alarm, red flag, so people know that you've not totally made it in this area and it's something that you're still striving in. There's a level of honesty that we have to have and we have to give. But when we take on the role of superstar and we want people to believe that we're superhuman, here's what we do. We deny the grace that's been afforded to us for the areas where we're short, because we begin to walk in pride and arrogance and convincing people that we're more than what we are. And when we do that, that grace is violated. So you can't get forgiveness for what you're not because you're walking in pride. God resists the pride and gives grace to the humble. If you want more grace from God, you have to practice more humility. Humility causes you to express the true nature of where you are. Y'all, in some areas, I'm a shining star. In other areas, I'm dirt. You spit on me, I'm mud. And I'm processing these things daily. Now, I am perfect through the lens of Christ by the blood of the Lamb, based on the redemptive work of Calvary. The enemy cannot bring anything to my charge because of who I am in Christ. But this humanity stinks. And there's a lot of work that I've got to do with it. So my spiritual place does not deny my physical, my physical place. They coexist. They exist together. Spiritually, I'm perfect. Naturally, this body jacked up. You ever passed gas and smelt it and like, oh my God, where did that come from? That's how some of your ways are. And you've got to be honest about where you are if you're going to progress to something greater. So when we're talking about managing heartbreak, you got to give yourself space to heal. You've got to get around. There are certain things that you have to practice to be healed. You can't heal rehearsing your pain. So here's what I do. I'm gonna give you a personal practice. It differs from person to person. I'm just gonna share what I do when I'm hurt as somewhat of a foundational, informative place for you to build your own. So when I hurt, for instance, I was in a relationship with someone that I really loved or liked a lot. And when I had to cut them off, it hurt me. I gave myself 3 days to wallow. Oh my God, I can't believe this. Do all that, 3 days. That third day, it's time to get back going. If I'm going to stay home, I'm going to do it 3 days. If I'm going to cry, I'm going to cry about 3 days. If I'm going to be silly and do stupid stuff, I got 3 days to do it. You've got to give yourself an ending time when dealing with the vicissitudes of life. There has to be a cutoff point. If you don't give yourself a cutoff point, you alert your mind that you're going to do this every day. And there's a possibility you open the door for this offense that should have been just for a moment to last in eternity. And you grow and go through life carrying this thing because you're still living in the past. If you don't give yourself a cutoff point, prolonged grief brings disbelief. Now you're denying the offering that Christ gave for your healing. You're denying it because you want to rehearse living in sorrow. So I give myself 3 days. I don't care how I feel. I don't care what's going on. I've got 3 days. After the third day, I've got to take up my bed and walk. Doesn't mean the pain goes away, but I have to shift my perspective into doing something that aids my healing, whether that's listening to messages on healing, or listening to music, going out, getting it off my mind. It's time to move on. Because if you don't move on from this place of grief will become your living space of grief, and it will rob you of the hope that you have, and you won't be able to execute or exemplify faith in any area. So I give myself a time limit. One of the things that I do after the third day, I find someone to over invest in when it comes to like gifts. I may go get my daughter, take her to lunch, take her shopping, give her money. Same thing with my son. It's time for me to sow. When I get up from my bed of affliction, I get up giving. Thank you, God. Giving aids in your healing. I give from my heart. I give my biggest gift when I'm hurting the worst, because I believe, here's the way the scripture put it. It says, where your heart is, that is the place where you place your investment. Where your heart is, there your treasures be also. I never forget, some of you might remember last year I was hospitalized. They found me unresponsive, unconscious, wasn't breathing. Paramedics rushed me to the hospital. I was at home. It was late one night. While I was on my bed in that hospital, a Cash App someone $500 as a gift to them. Let me tell you what happens when you give. You expose your heart. Well, when the heart is exposed, that's how the light comes in. The light of healing is connected to your giving. And I give because I believe that as we invest, we receive promise. Paul said something real strange about our giving. He was talking to one of them churches. He was pastoring. He said, hey, I don't need your money. When you give, it's not for me, but it's so that fruit can be multiplied to your account. What fruit can be multiplied to their account by them giving money? Their grace enlarges on your life. When you let go of what you have, you're able to receive more. And our concept of saving in this capitalistic country has been perverted. We believe we gain by holding back. Well, the principle of grace says you gain by your giving. And it's important that we talk about it, because I think we all need more. And you think you're going to get more by withholding it? Most times when God is expanding you, he requires you to give at a level where it hurts. Don't run. Don't run. You need to hear it. This is how you expand. So I get up. 3 days I grieve. The third day I get up giving. Supporting others. Going to that fourth and fifth day, whatever afflicted me, if it's a person that hurt me, relationship, we got to have a conversation. If we're on talking terms, if we are not on talking terms, I pray for that person. God, touch them, touch their heart. Father, I speak increase in their life as they govern themselves to your will. Open up the door of favor. Bless them beyond measure. God, give them what you need. Father, don't let anything take them out or take them over. Keep them in a place where you are their focus. Now, as much as that prayer is to bless them, the prayer is also a part of my healing, because you can't hold a grudge against the person you're praying for. And the bigger the grudge, the more prayer you should offer. This stuff is for the spiritual mature. Kids and babies, they're gonna wrestle with this. It doesn't make sense. This is foreign to them. If this gospel be hid, is hid to those that are lost, and the God of this world have blinded their eyes. So I don't expect people to understand what's not in them. If you say God is in you, then that eternal hope that is in you requires a response to others. The more you pray for them, the more you release them. That becomes a part of your healing. That becomes a part of your aid of hope. Let's say the person is dead. Show kindness to those that are close to them. First principle, I give myself 3 days to grieve. That fourth day, I'm getting up. Well, technically, that third day, the end of that third day, I'm getting up, giving. The fourth day, I'm praying. I'm giving. I'm praying. Now, if I know that this person who's offended me has a need, I become the need meter. I may send them a card. I'm not going to put my name on it. They're not going to know it's from me. They're not. And I'll put a gift in there for them. Mail it to their house. You know, I've got to give because it's a part of my healing. This is how you recover from a broken heart. Now, you may have to piece this stuff together, tailor-maker it for you. But here's the one thing that's going to be common for your healing and for your getting over offense. No matter how you were hurt or how you were wounded, the response of your healing is in giving. You got to give forgiveness. The way that we forgive is we release. You can't hold on and forgive. You have to release. And as you release that thing, bless those that curse you. And I don't send what I can afford. I generally bless people beyond what I'm able to do, which means it's going to require sacrifice maybe. I have a birthday coming up Saturday. And I've already seeded, and I'm going to seed again to be a blessing to somebody else. This year for my birthday, I want to give the most that I've ever given to a foundation. I do. That's my desire. That's the gift that I want. I want to be able to seed into a foundation that's going to help other people. That's my gift. That's what I want for my birthday. Well, in order for me to do that, man, I can't. I'm not buying myself, spoiling myself, riding out, flying out, flown out. I'm not doing that this year. This year, I want to give the most that I've ever given. That's my heart's desire. Because I'm setting myself up. Some things I'm believing God for. There are some things that I spoke to God in prayer that I want to see happen. It does not happen by me saving or me investing in me. As I give out, he gives in. Whoo! Yes, sir. So hopefully this was fruitful to you. Hopefully you got something out of this. I didn't rush this morning. I didn't give myself a timeline because I wanted to carefully outline this thing and really give it to you, because I do believe, I believe with all my heart, y'all, our future is predicated on the decisions we make in our present. Meaning, what causes you to progress tomorrow is what you do today. What slows you down tomorrow is what you do today. All right. I feel better now. I feel like I've done what I'm supposed to do. Don't forget tonight, Encounter, 7:30. I do have a word from God. I do. I'm not going to deny it. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I have a word, and I believe it's going to bless your life. So make sure you tune in. We'll be on all platforms: YouTube, YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, Periscope. Tonight at 7:30. Maybe you were convicted by some of the things that I said, and you want to sow into what we do. Here's our Cash App. It's on the screen. I want to challenge some of you. Like I've never challenged you before. I want you to join me in helping reach my birthday goal. That's to sow into a foundation and give more than I've ever given before. I want to challenge at least 4 of you to cash at me $1,500. I don't know what it is about 1,500, but it is a common number generally when I feel something on my heart. $1,500. You like, man, that's gonna hurt. Give it. And anybody that follow me, you know I don't do money lines and play with people about money. But I want you to give today. I want you to stretch. I want you to give $1,500. At least 3 of you. At least 3 of you on here now. Do I have to give it all now? Yeah. But you can't get what you don't have. If you want to do it in segments, that's fine. But I want to challenge you. Maybe more of you. Because I know for some of you, that's going to be a stretch. You're like, I ain't never done that before. If you've done it before, you give $2,500. It's time for us to increase in the arena of our mind by exposing where we're greedy, where we're selfish. And if you ever want to know who you are, judge yourself on how you view giving. Some of you need to take $200-$300 and sow it into one of your enemies. You do. You do. You do. You need to take $1,500, sow it in coffee time. You need to take $500 and sow it into your enemies. You do. Yeah. There's this great disdain that you have. You don't want to call it hate, but it's in your heart towards somebody. You need to give them something that costs you and causes you to sacrifice. Watch how fast that healing starts. It begins in your giving. I'm challenging you to do it. My Cash App is on the screen. For those of you that support us monthly, don't fall back from your support. I appreciate you. Those of you've never done this before, well, there's no better time than now to do what you've never done. There are 5 of you. There's at least 5 of you. You know you can give $300-$400 today. Do it. Do it. If you got to think about it, that means I'm talking to you. If it's uncomfortable, that means I'm talking to you. It's going to expand your life. I promise you. I promise you it's going to expand your life. I love you all. Thank you for your support. Cash App is on the screen. Do what I've asked. We're in this together. Folk be quick to tell you they in it with you till you start asking for money. Anyway, listen, I'm so glad we're able to do life together. Without your ears, I don't have a voice. You make this possible. We are a match made in heaven. I'm glad God caused us to walk together and do life together. Without you, there'd be no me. You were born to win, predestined to succeed. There's nothing that can happen to me to you today that the wisdom on the inside of you is not able to handle. You got to calm down, slow down. Shh. Be quiet. Use emotional intelligence. Trust God and let wisdom speak. When wisdom speak, you will always win. You all go have a productive day and remember to think higher. Speak life. So today, so right now, it's going to better your life. I promise you, in every area. Peace out.
Coffee time, coffee time. Yeah, this ain't your average cup of joe. Listen, I need it in the morning, I need it at night. He always keeps it brewing, he always keeps it tight. Just a little sip, it'll get you right. Terrence Pickett always be the one that gets the coffee right. The coffee's right, the coffee's right in my life. It's never a wrong time over crime to get what's yours and to get what's mine. Come on. Coffee time in my life. Coffee time feels so right. I need a little sugar, put it in my cup. Can you stir it, Terrence? Let me know what's up. And at the end of the show, you can brew another pot. Just make sure you make it hot. Come on.